What's up, you guys? Welcome to the 20 to 40 podcast, episode 8. And we're going to be going over your time and how you're spending your 20s, 30s, and 40s. The 2040 podcast is all about life going from being a 20-year-old, growing all the way through your 30s and 40s. We got your hosts, Aubrey, Sirod, and Stephen. We got Sirod, federal police, and real estate agent, jack of many trades. We've got Stephen, lawyer, and we got myself, physical therapist, investor, and trader. And all of us are dads, right? We're all on this journey together. So we're here to bring you some nuggets. We appreciate all the likes, shares, and comments on all of our current content. We're already on episode 8, so it's incredible. So thank you guys for that. Let's jump into it. 2040 podcast, our most valuable asset, time. So let me give you guys some stats, which I'm sure you guys might know this, but it kind of brings it into perspective, right? 24 hours in a day, right? 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. And then the average USA adult wake-up time is about 7 a.m., 8:30 a.m. on the weekends. Average adult works about 38.9 hours and sleeps about 7.8 hours a day. So that gives them, after work and after sleep, right, 168 hours a week minus that average about 48 hours of sleep and that 39 hours of work. 80 hours, a little over 80 hours left. So I go over that because I want you guys to speak on, right, and we'll have, Stephen first and then Sirod, so we kind of like have everybody stepping up, is what do you guys think your relationship with time has changed from your 20s to 30s and 40s? Because some people are going through that journey and feeling different, right? Maybe you felt like you had all this time in the world and now it feels different because you got more responsibilities. How did you deal with that? And when did you start noticing your time really start to change? And what do you feel about that?
So I guess when it comes to time, like when I was in the 20s, I felt like time, the the abundance of time, right? Like I could do it tomorrow, or I get to it when I get to it. I got, that I think about that tomorrow, right? And then, now I'm almost 40, and it's like, man, I don't have enough time to do everything I need to do, and really try to make sure that the important things is the things that I put in, that I make sure that I do spend time on, and then compromising with myself on stuff that, what takes precedence, right? I think what really showed me about what really time is when I became an attorney, right? And then, because attorneys, they charge you by the 6 minutes, right? So when attorneys are trying to uh, charge people, they charge for every 6 minutes. So every 6 minutes is worth time to an attorney. And when you put your life into 6 minute blocks throughout an hour every day, that gets kind of like, man, like what? You have to be doing something, right? I have to be doing something so I can charge this person, and I do it out every 6 minutes. So I have to know where every 6 minutes are, and I don't like that feeling. I don't like having that type of feeling of every 6 minutes I got to figure out something, right? But it also let me know that my time is important, and what do I want to spend my time doing, or who do I want to spend my time with? And for me, I just really, that the time I have with my family, with my wife and my daughters, is just one of those things that you always want more time with your kids because they grow up so fast. So you always just want more time. And so I always really try to prioritize, like when I get off work, like making sure I spend time to ask Isla how her day was, picking Summer up from school or going to their school events. I really prioritizing that. Last night, me and my wife went to summer theater, and it was super nice just to have us time without the kids and just out and about doing something that we used to do more often. But when you have kids, that kids dictate. Um, for me, another thing I like the game, right? So when I get done with a stressful day or whatever, and I finally get done with dad duties, and I get like an hour and a half to myself. Sometimes I just like to go downstairs and jump on. I play with my brothers and some guys online, and just play video games and just decompress and just be able to just talk and hang out in a way that when you're a dad and a husband and a father, all those things, like leaving the house all the time, you ain't just gonna just be able to just pop up and roll out because someone had time has to be spent with the kids. So as a way for me to get some type of uh, interaction with other adults without always having to leave the house, I really like gaming. So I don't know, it does change, but I think while time does change, your priorities change, and that's what you start to realize the older you get is that you make time for what you want to make time for, good or bad. So prioritize what's important and spend that time. And if stuff doesn't get as much time as you think, then it's probably not that important per se.
Yep.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, well, I can hear y'all. You can. It's just a little low still. Um, I'm pretty lucky. I think when I was younger, I didn't care about time. Like Steven said, it wasn't really important. I would pretty much party all night and then go to work, and so I did what I wanted. Time didn't seem to be a factor. But as I got promoted in the police department, then I was able to control my time a little bit better. So as priorities went up, like meeting my wife, or it wasn't really much. I was still partying for a long time, but for the most part, time it didn't become a problem. So now, as a family person, what happened was when I got married and had a kid. Again, very lucky because I was running the police department. So then I created my own time. I made my own schedule. I could decide to come in at 4 a.m. or I could decide to come in at 1 p.m. There are hours, you got to be there to run the department, but for the most part, I made my own schedule. So that was the last 5 years. The last 2 years, I'm no longer in charge of anybody. So for me, no knock on my HR work, but it's just not as difficult as running a police department. So I have even more time and I make more money. So I've been very fortunate to not worry about time when I was a cop working the streets and really didn't have much control. But as I moved up and controlled my own time, then I got lucky and got into HR that just doesn't require as much as my time. So I work 6 to 2. From 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I do what I want, and I go pick up my son. I hang out with him all day. I really am a beneficiary, a benefactor, a benefitter of time? And that's a great question because I know a lot of people are stressed about it. How can I do this? How can I do that? I have 600 hours of sick time and I have 300 hours of vacation time that I don't know what to do with it because I don't even need time off from work to go do anything because I already have enough time. So for people out there, that's the goal. And I kind of tripped into it. It's not like that was my plan, but I'm very fortunate that I don't have to worry about time. If anything, this podcast is a waste of my time.
Ooh, I swear to God. All right, that takes us into our next point. What are some time wasters to avoid
Time wasters to avoid.
in your 20s and 30s and now?
Man, the bar. Like to me that it doesn't seem like a time waster when you're younger because that's what everyone's doing. But the older you get, the less I even you know like I like to go out, but I also I like to go out to like restaurants and stuff like that. Like not saying that you can't drink. I don't drink anymore really, but it's just I don't know. It all depends on what your priorities are, right? Like a time waster is a time waster to one may not be a time waster to another. So you really got to see what your priorities are. But if you are sitting there at the end of the day and you're like, man, I had all this to do and I didn't get it done, like, man, now I feel really anxious about not doing it. Or if you're one of those people that are like myself, well, used to be myself, like a procrastinator, right? The time wasting is you doing everything else but what you want to do because you're anxious about doing the task, right? So you do all these other things so you distract yourself from what's really important and what to do. And procrastination is the biggest time waster, really. Like some people just worry so much about this big thing instead of just getting it done, doing it, and then being done with it. And then you realize man, if I would have just did this, and I've done this so many times in my life where I'm so worried about this big thing because I think it can't be done or it's impossible or it's going to take forever. And then you finally just do it and you look back and you're like, wow, like just getting it done, I would have been done with this so much time. I would have had so much time on the back end if I would have just did this. But I did so much stuff leading up to it, just wasting time that but you never know what's a time waster until after you look back on how much time you spent on something. So, but I think procrastination is a time waster, doubt, when you sit there and doubt yourself instead of just going forward and, you're either going to fail, you're either going to have an accomplishment or a failure. And some people will worry so much about that failure part that it then wastes their time because they're doubting themselves and when they could just get it done. And if you fail, cool. It's okay to fail. Then tweak it and then try again. Like the trying again part is where you get your time back at. The time wasting part is you sitting there and be like, I really want to do this, but oh man, I don't think I can do it. I'm not smart enough. I don't have this. I don't know where to go. I don't know. I don't know. All that doubt is just wasting your time when you could just figure it out. Doing the action is what's going to let you know if you're wasting your time or not. And doubt and procrastination are two of the biggest time wasters, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, there's too many money making opportunities out there that the extra time that I do have that I don't. My kid's not in sports or anything like that. There's no teacher parent conferences I'm missing, or at least in the single black mom, I don't have enough time concepts, like, oh, I can't make it here, I can't do that, I got to get some other job type of, again, I don't live that life. So I think the biggest one that I would say is these are opportunities to make money in every second of the day. And I hate that at the end of the day when I'm laying in bed, I'm like, bro, all you did was scroll Instagram, eat, BS. Like I hate that I'm not using that extra time that I have to make dollars in some form or fashion. I dabble in too much stuff. I really need to focus on one or the other. That's why the stock market is so important because it's tough just staring at all day. But when I'm looking at it and then I kind of drift over into Instagram and then I come back and there was money being made. And I'm like, bro, like, what do you do? You're wasting your time over here on Instagram. Instagram ain't going nowhere. You can scroll later. So I hate that I waste my time on the money makers that, I mean, again, ChatGPT could be creating something for me. Fiverr.com, Etsy. I mean, these are all automated now. You can make money just by saying, ChatGPT, make me logos and just charge people for logos that ChatGPT is going to make. I don't know why I don't spend 2-3 hours investing in those things and using that time to make money. But I guess it's because I ain't hurting for money. So there's no pressure. Like, oh my God, if I don't do this, then I'm not going to eat. It's like, it's still optional, but I really want to put it in my, drill it more that you need to stop acting like, so you need to start acting like you're starving, and maybe that'll start pushing you toward that. So that would be the biggest advice I would have for if you have extra time, use it to invest in yourself and make good decisions when it comes to, improving your pockets. Because again, the sooner you do it, the later you can relax. But the stresses of time, procrastination, getting jobs done, painting the house or fixing a toilet or something, I don't really run into those issues. I knock them out if they appear, but money making, like, damn, what a waste.
Yeah, I think for me, it comes back to intentionality with your time, kind of like Stephen touched on, right? There could be something that somebody feels is a time waster is a connector for somebody else, right? And I think it all comes down to the intentionality with our time. What are we doing with that time? Because for me, there was a time when, right, watching TV was a time waster. Now, right, watching Netflix with my wife and my daughter at the end of the day is like our connection time. We watch the same shows and we talk about them, right? So it's the same activity, but it's used differently, right? And the intentionality inside of that time is really important. What's the time for? Is it used for connection or is it used just to blank out and not be as aware? That's where I think is the difference, because the activity isn't as important as what the activity is for and was it given. Connection is important, growth is important, fun is important. But if it's just escape and not thinking and not being like kind of like I just want to sit here and be a blob and not get anything from it, I think that's where there's time for that too. But if there's too much of that, that's where we run into things on the other time, because we do only have 24 hours. And after those things, we do only have 80 hours. And you still got to eat, cook, clean, commute, if you got all those things, and it takes out even more time. So I think that's the biggest thing to be aware of, is how intentional with our time is we are. And that's what'll take us into our next thing. Like, how important do you guys think the morning is, and what's your morning routine like, if you've really taken advantage of that?
So I'm up every day at 6 in the morning. You back? Okay. So I get up every day. What? I'm up every day, 6 in the morning. I'm cooking breakfast for the family probably at like 6:30. My work day starts at 7. I work from home, so I'm in the crib, go work till 4:30. Once 4:30 gets done, I'm downstairs doing daddy duty while dinner's being made. I'm taking Isla up to take a bath probably around 6:30. Probably about from 7:15 to about 9 o'clock is my downtime with the wife, or whatever we want to do. If she wants to read, I'll go play video games, and then shower, getting in bed. I'm lights out usually around 10:30, 11 o'clock, just so I can recharge for the next day. So it's like knowing that, and then knowing I have other things to do throughout the day sometimes, right? Whether it's me having to have to drive into court, or, you see some laundry, you see some dishes, what I'm saying? Just little things throughout the day just to try to help out around the house as well, so then it doesn't all fall. So it's just the weird thing about it is I used to never really be a morning person. I used to be a real like night person. Like that's where I felt like I'd always like to work the night shifts and all like that, because I used to always like just working while everyone else was sleeping, and then I could get everything else done while everyone else was working. And now it's like once you have kids, it's like my alarm clock is my daughter almost every day anyway. Like when I get to the alarm clock, I'm like, yes, thank you. Like she actually slept in. And then now it's like she's up between 6 and 7 every single day. So there ain't no sleeping in unless I coordinate that, right? So it, the days go by so much faster too the older you get. Like I remember what time was like. You'd be like, oh man, yeah, I'm not gonna see you till 8. I was like, I got a ton of time. Now I get off work, I do everything, and I look at the clock. I'm like, yo, how's it 8 o'clock already? I gotta go to bed in like an hour and a half. Like this is crazy. And it's like, and that is the grind of life, right? Like when I hear people that are like, oh man, I'm in school, and I'm like, man, like school was fun. Like school was cool. Like you got to go to school, you got to do things, you got to meet people and see people. Once you graduate, once you start your job, or whatever you're doing, like once you're in the workforce, every day is almost the same, right? You just go to sleep, get up, grind, go to sleep, get up, grind. But I think, like you said, Aubrey, you just got to be intentional with your days, right? Get your work in. Do you know what you're waking up? What's your purpose? What you're doing? Do it for them. Like I do this a lot of this stuff I do for myself, but there's a lot of things I do that I just want to do for legacy and generational wealth and for my family, right? So having that purpose on those hard days to get you through grinding every single day, getting up, looking after kids, doing everything you got to do, and being the person you got to be to show up and hold it down. Like always have your purpose at heart every time. And whenever you feel that slipping, reconnect with that purpose. Because I can't tell you how many times, my mind has just not been where I needed it to be. And you feel like you're just alone, and you're just sitting there, and you just feel like you're going through the motions. Nothing's making you happy. Nothing's making you like smile. You feel like you're losing a little bit of yourself just because every day you're just like, ah. But being able to know when that's happening, to detach a little bit in a way to make lock into yourself and what your purpose is. What are you grinding for? What are you doing this for? Why are you working so hard? Right. And keep that in mind to lock in. So when the times do get hard, as it does every day when we working, and then that's your driver to get you through. Like some days I'm just like, man, let me get to 4:30. But then there's some days I'm in here and I look at, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's 5:30. You never know how your day is going to carry you. So just when you down low, have your purpose, and when you grind and just get through it.
This nigga always says, Like you said, Aubrey. Like you said, Aubrey. Nigga, it's been like 7 episodes. I ain't heard you once say, like you said, Pep. What the fuck, man? It's always like you said, Aubrey. Like you pointed out, Aubrey. What the fuck? Am I just like I ain't saying shit that you want to? Like I said,
You got to go before me on the question. What you mean? You got to go before me. He talks about it. I go after him. What you mean? All right, next time we're gonna switch it up, and then I'll be like, just like Pep said, just like Pep said, just
I'm
like Pep.
like, man, nah.
But I'll go back. I'll go back. I'll go back. Don't worry. I'll go back.
I appreciate that. No, again, I hate that the volume for some reason is just going lower and lower. I don't know if it's my battery or what, or let me uncharge it. No, for me, I wake up at when I gotta go to San Diego, I wake up at like 2 a.m. some change, and I drive down to San Diego, and then I usually get on the stock market because goddamn West Coast, so it's open at 1 a.m. Again, people are making money, and I'm up paying attention, learning. Then I'll take a nap in my car, and then I kind of start my day. But like I said, it's not grueling like being a cop. So I mean, it's like lunch breaks, and we got a little shopping center, snack place on the floor right below me. I got the gym on the floor right below me, so I just go to the gym. I'm downtown San Diego, and a freaking like I look over the ocean and the ships and the freaking water, and it's like if I ever get like bored of my day in the morning, I could just go and look at the window and go, "Holy crap, this is my job." And they pay me six figures to work up here, and really, it's not. We're not asking much of me. Um, when I'm at home, same thing. I do try to wake up at 1 a.m., but I'll go back to sleep if the market ain't moving. But on average, yeah, 4 a.m., I'm up on the market. And then I'm on my laptop checking in with my boss at 6 a.m. And then I'm just doing HR work, answering people's calls. And my mornings are pretty flexible. And again, then when I get off 2 o'clock, I'm already home chilling. Let me go work on the backyard. Let me go wash a car. Let me go get my son early and go get him some ice cream. It really is, again, a unplanned, but I would say perfect scenario that, nothing changes too much from my routine, but not a lot of stress, not a lot of divergent. We can go to the movies. I can go hang out. I'm pretty happy with the way my Monday through Monday works out.
I like that. That's dope. That's the power of working from home, having that seniority in your job. I think mornings for me have been a game changer. Like I never used to work out in the morning. I would usually work out after work or just later in the day. Wasn't feeling like a morning person. I still don't necessarily think I'm naturally a morning person. I think some people naturally are. They call it like a like there's like a lark, which is a morning person. Owl is a night person. There could be some seriousness to that. I'm like kind of a middle day person. I'm not a night person. I'm not a morning person. But I think one of the biggest things is starting to discipline my time. And I think that's one of the biggest things that really helped me is disciplining my time so that, like y'all said, sometimes I look up at it's 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And back in the day, it was like, what have I done so far? I felt behind. But now if I make sure I get up at a certain time and work out, start my day, already earning by, starting my day of work, listening to some positive stuff. So I'm building my mindset. By 2 or 3, it's like, damn, look how much I've already done kind of by just habit now. And I think one of the biggest things that really helped me was like getting that early morning wake up consistently, not when I feel like waking up. Because if my body naturally wanted it, I'm usually like a 9:30 a.m. wake up dude. That's kind of where my body naturally likes it. But I've noticed that if I discipline myself to wake up, right? Shout out to my wife because she wakes us up at like 6:20 every day. Like whether I feel like it or not, I know from experience now, it takes some time, is that by later in the day, I'm going to be happy that I did. There's never been a day where I woke up early and got things done where later I was like, damn, I wish I would have slept in. It's always felt better later. And it usually doesn't feel, there's some mornings where it's like, yo, I'm feeling good. But 80% of the time, I would much rather go back to sleep. But I think just understanding how important that momentum in the day, starting early, getting moving with a workout to get my body moved, because I don't have to think that much early in the morning. I can just move. And then that movement gets my blood flow going, which helps me think clearer. And then just jumping right into my day, not taking too much time on, let me check Instagram, let me check this. Like just jump into the day and then check that other stuff during the day when I'm already kind of like in motion has really helped me. So that by the end of the day, I'm done. I've done what I feel like is a good day and I can feel good about that. And then the last thing is really disciplining that sleep time because it's going to affect my next day, how I wake up feeling energy wise. So I use like blue light glasses at night to take away the screen color. I do a nighttime concoction with beets, melatonin, And then I usually do a nose strip at night, which helps you breathe about 30% more. So just things to get a better quality sleep. I try to eat 2 to 3 hours before I go to sleep so my stomach's done digesting, because all these things affect my sleep, which then affects my next morning, which then affects how I wake up and get into my day. So understanding how everything is connected, I think that's been a real big upgrade for me personally, how much I can personally produce in a week. So let's go ahead and finish out this one with, what is your plan for the future into your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s to get more time? For those people that are like, man, I don't feel like I have enough time, I want more time. What's your guys' plans, hacks, things that you think could work for people to get more of their time back as we finish out on this one?
You know, I think it's really trying to find that right fit in your job, right? Like, you know, for me, in my job and working from home, I have a lot of flexibility, similar to Pep, right? Where we could just, I I can if something pops up, I could take that time off to go do that because I have time to do, right? Like I could do that. Now when I think about how to get that time back, it's how can I try to retire as early as possible. That is how you try to get your time back. You get your time back by building yourself up so you know when you retire, I have a place to live. Hey, I don't have debt. So when I'm on this steady income, that I'm living within my means when I'm older. I don't need people to be checking in on me or all this other stuff. But the sooner you can retire, right? Like my mom just retired and she's loving life. She's been to Spain, Italy, Germany. She's all over the place, right? And it's just like, and I'm like, man, I want to do that. And yeah, there's a lot of people our age that do that. But right now for me, that it takes too much time and planning if I want to go over there and bring my kids, right? Like it's a lot of an expense just to go. So my thought has always been, the sooner I can set my life in a way that I can retire and I don't have to work anymore, that is the time that I get back to go do those things. I know everyone's like, man, I wish I would have did stuff when I was younger. And that's true. And I wish I could do it while I'm younger. But you know what? At the same time, I also value my connections and what I'm doing, right? And trying to make sure that I get to see, what my daughter's potty training, to go to see her first potty in the potty seat. Like that's time that you don't, that's a memory and time you don't get back, right? And yeah, I could spend it traveling and I could take the family everywhere and stuff, but I'm also trying to live like Pep. I'm not trying to stress either. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to have it in a way where, we do what we can do as a family and that's fun and not super stressful. But then, how am I going to reconnect with my wife once all the kids leave, right? That's the one thing that people don't think about after all this is the empty nesters, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying to set my daughters up. We're trying to do all this nice stuff and boom, boom, boom. But if I can retire early, then me and my wife can reconnect and do these trips while we're older and retired, and we don't have to worry about nothing. We just go. We have our house. The kids are good. Boom, boom, boom. So that is how I look at trying to get my time back, is figuring out ways to set myself up so I can retire early, to try to get as much time in retirement to really just sit on a beach, travel, wake up whenever you want, do whatever you want, because anytime, go talk to anyone that's retired, right? That I've never met a person that says, "Oh, I hate retirement." Everyone's like, "Man, I love it. Oh, I wish I could do more, do this." Everyone loves it because there's no pressure. You finally get to do whatever it is that you want to do without having to worry about a boss or a job or something else that has to get done. You get to actually live your life. So really just trying to figure out ways to retire early is one thing I look at, but try to get my time back later on.
No, all jokes aside, 1000%, like you just said. Like seriously, that's been my only goal. Like there's a blessing in disguise for all these things. Like I said, I don't want to get all political, but I don't even like Trump ain't the greatest president ever. But one thing that he has done in my eyes before was get people more into politics because they hate him so much, they pay attention. And he just woke my eyes up to freaking retirement. I wasn't even thinking about that shit until he started firing all these federal employees and we started looking for second jobs and trying to look at our options. I'm getting on the GRB website. I'm like, oh shit, I can't retire until wait, I have to do like 30 something years. I started at 24. It's like 59 or something like that. And I'm like, I gotta do it 19 years of this shit. I was like, oh hell no. I didn't even think about that. So my goal is actually like real talk, Stephen, what you just said. I'm giving myself 10 years. And I don't want another job because I used to do photography and videography and all those things. They're fun, but they're not consistent. What happens when COVID happens and there's no wedding? So right, so I pushed away from that. The only thing that has been consistent that I'm really trying to learn is the stock market. So I'm giving myself that time to really get good at the stock market where I can possibly get a supplemental income to where I don't need to work for the government and I can. Ross Cameron is who I follow. He's in Europe right now traveling. He literally trade East Coast time. He trades from I think he says 6:30 to 9:30, 3 hours a day, and he's our age. He's 40, but he's been trading since he was 20. So he's really good at it. So learning how to trade so that if I do need to have income coming, I can just trade. But other than that, the multiplex, like we were talking about before, I want to try to buy a multiplex out here, rent it out, and get that passive income. But I guess the P word is my goal somehow because I don't think I'll be able to retire from my job. I'll have to do a deferred retirement, but I don't plan on working past the next 10 years. My goal is to figure out how to get a passive income that'll supplement what I need to travel, to live, to party, to SeaWorld, Disneyland, Thailand, cruises, whatever the hell me and my wife want to do. About time I'm 50. And if I can do it sooner, because, it'll happen. I mean, I can get lucky and talk to Aubrey next week and learn the options, strategies and figure out something. All of a sudden I'm 44 and I'm going to go quit my job and I'm gonna have some type of passive income. Or maybe my mom will say, hey, I'll help you get a multiplex and rent it out and property manage it myself since I have a license. But Stephen, right on the money, man. Retirement, retirement, retirement. I wish I'd have thought about it a little earlier, but I'm okay. Not, I'm always happy where I'm at because I think I'll make better decisions now than I probably would have before. I probably would have focused on some weird business like, oh, let me focus on my photography and that'll be a good passive income. But then then COVID would have taught me that's not the greatest plan either. So retirement.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I think I really like this book called Die with Zero. It's about not just trying to retire early, but also maximizing when you take the experiences you want with the money you have, because they talked about, which is true, right? In our 70s, 80s, and 90s, we socked all this money away, but now we're too tired. You don't have the health, right? Your family can't go with you to experience this traveling, this go. They call it the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years after retirement. Go-go is like, I do want to travel all these places. Slow-go is like, that starts to slow down. And then the no-go is like, I don't even want to leave the house, right? Because people get old and they have health conditions or they just don't have the energy or the desire. And it's like really maximizing that balance of having the means and having the health, energy, and opportunity and ability to. I think that's really important. So really like maximizing savings and investing, creating those passive incomes and really getting more of that time back is really a focus for me too. I think one of the big things is like having the maximum income without losing so much of the time. So the side hustles or the extra hours, but not to the detriment of the family not getting that time. And then taking that extra, controlling what this book talked about that I really like, Simple Path to Wealth. And then a second book to that by a guy named Gerald Collins, who's like the godfather of what's called the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. Is Pathfinders, like people on that journey. And it talks about the importance of, right, getting that money to work, but in controlling what's called lifestyle inflation. So you get out of school and you get your first nice real paycheck and your lifestyle just inflates to that paycheck. Now I can get 2,000 for the rent and 700 for the car payment and go out 2 times a week. And then you get the next raise and now you're making 6,000 a month. And then the lifestyle raises up to that because you get the 3 bedroom and you get the second car. And it talks about the importance of controlling that lifestyle inflation. So as your income does go up, you control your spending to have more and more and more difference between what you spend and what you make to invest that difference into broad-based index funds like S&P 500, top 500 companies in the US, or the total stock market, all the companies in the US, or total stock market of the world, which is like Europe and Asia and Africa and emerging markets, to have that money start to work for you to create that passive income by having a part equity in those businesses to then be able to live off one day, right? And then kind of like working that balance of learning other skills that are a little bit more passive, like trading and investing or real estate and honing properties that create passive cash flow, or even taking a part-time job. I think one of the biggest things to me is I'm trying to work right now to get to 3 days a week of working so that as we have more children, I have even more time, and then drop down to 1 to 2 days a week and then drop down to part-time in between traveling and family time, right? Because sometimes people do think they want to retire and sit at home all day, and then sometimes people find that really boring. So another thing the book said that I think was really dope and had me thinking was like, what are some of the things you're going to want to pursue as you stop having to work? What is there some hobbies that you're really like if you had all day, what would you want to do? Everybody says travel, okay, but after travel, right? What do you like to do? Do you like to read? Do you like to paint? Do you like to make music? Do you like to podcast? This is one of the things I was like, man, I'm really glad we started this podcast because it's something I'm passionate about. Spending time with friends, chopping it up, and giving value to people, right? Maybe there's some other things, mentoring, going to the local Boys and Girls Club and just giving back some of your time. Like, what are those things that you want to do with your time? If we're focused on getting our time back, then what do we want to do with that time? I think was a great point, like having me thinking like, damn, what do I want to get into? Like we used to make music. I really enjoyed writing songs,
Used
right?
to.
What?
Used to. I still
You
drop
still making
fucking.
music?
Huh?
You still make music?
I'm writing a little something right now.
Okay. So that's something we might have to do a collab. 20 to 40 intro song. Might be us on the track one day. You never know. I'm just saying that had me thinking about like, what am I into? Because as you get into your working career, I feel like a lot of us becomes what we do is work. We become providers, we become workers, and we want to make more, and that's great. But that's not all of who we are. And I think that's one thing that had me realizing like, who am I and what am I about? Yes, I want to make income because I want to provide for my family and create these opportunities, but that's not all I'm about. And that's not all the fun there is to have in the world. So I think that was a big eye opener for me. So I hope this episode 8 helped you guys out. I'm gonna let everybody finish out with one takeaway or whatever they want to finish this episode out. Episode 8, the importance of your time in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and how it can make a difference. What do you guys want to give them? One last thing or one going away tip or takeaway? Go ahead.
What you last said about stuff you want to do about, what do you want to fill your time with? I think that is what you should be doing now, right? Finding those things that you like to do outside of work and out, with your family, with your spouse, on your own, right? Like I love to go fishing. I love to go shoot guns. Like there's certain things that I like to go and just do that when you get older, like we be as good, maybe not, but it's about enjoying that quality time. Like really find some hobbies and some things that you don't mind doing that don't cost a lot that you could just go and walk. I like to go for walks around the neighborhood and then the local parks, right? Stuff like that. That even when you get older, that time when you want to do it can do it. So yeah, really think about trying to find some hobbies and stuff so you can spend the time. I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, I think I would get into photography or videography, and I've already done videos for people at a super discounted rate just because, I'm not the best, but I can get you a quality wedding or birthday video. So I would get into that. I used to want to coach youth sports, but that shit's out of control now. So I don't know if I would get into that. But yeah, there's other things. Thanks you for pointing that out that, if you haven't thought about it, think about it. But there's a lot, man. There's a lot you may want to do. And it may just be gaming. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, as long as your spouse is cool with it. But you can, if you're at that retirement age, maybe you do have that teenage son or daughter. Now you can game with them. I know a couple of our friends have kids in dance and sports and all kinds of things that you can be completely involved in, not just the parent that shows up at the game time, but you can be there in practices and helping some, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot to dabble in if you got that time. And that's why I'm very excited about this next 10 years and hopefully getting there. At 50, I'll still be in hopefully good shape. And like you said, Aubrey, it's no point in being 70 with a bunch of money. It's like, what can you really do? So I'm hoping to be young, healthy, and really using my time wisely and giving back. I know we joke on this podcast, but we really did start it because, again, we got more than 4 listeners. All right, I fucking fucked that up, but I really hope that people get even just one thing. I mean, 40 minutes, it's kind of long, but I'm hoping somewhere in there, if they listen to 10 or the last 10, they hear something and go, "Oh shit, I never thought about that." And that really makes me feel good. And I know it makes you guys feel good too.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Episode 8, and we always love you guys sharing the podcast. We are trying to just help as many people as we can. Topics you guys are like, yo, I'd like you guys to touch on this, gives us some ideas. And then comments and likes, we appreciate it. 20 to 40 podcast. And let's get it, y'all. Episode 8, your time and the value of it.